So the hands-on portion tonight, we're going to look at ways that you can display some inspiration, okay? So a few of these are things you're going to make, a few are things you can just adjust. So this is the frame that came from Anthology, and it has some quotes in it that you can put in it, or I used paper from, and my back apparently is coming off because see, you just slide these little guys on. I used so sorry, paper from Our Memories for Life, trimmed it to 8.5 by 11, ran it through the printer, and then trimmed it down again to 8 by 10 because this holds an 8 by 10 piece of paper. So you could easily swap out to whatever quote you want to have for that month, that week, whatever it is you want to have. Okay, so that's one idea. Another idea, this takes advantage of Heritage Makers and Anthology. So these are cards made in Heritage Makers, as well as this one, that you can put quotes on, and they actually have stuff on the back too. In fact, on these ones, you could put quotes on both sides and then just flip it over when you want a new one. And then these other little cards are out of the, I have now probably forgot, the Better Together collection, which is where these cute little animals come from. And with these clips, you just unclip what you want, and there are actually additional clips that come with it, but I couldn't find them, so I just pulled some paper clips I already had. So swap them out, you're ready to go. Now, this one is actually, I bought this at Hobby Lobby or Michael's or something like that. And this is using the Lemon Squeezy collection. And I printed quotes, and none of these things are adhered in so that each month I can swap out these quotes. Okay, they're just snug enough that you'd actually have to dump it over to have everything come out. The only thing that's adhered in is this one because this is a clear transparency frame that comes in the Lemon Squeezy collection. So the quote is actually not adhered down, but this guy is tacked on the corner. So I could still swap it out, just lift it up and put it in new. And then this guy, which apparently I've now pulled off the flower. Let's see if I can get him to come out. There you go. This one is actually printed on one of the journal cards. Now, you do have to trim these journal cards down just a little bit. But it's not too bad. And what I do is I print out my quote until I get it the size that I want. And then you can barely see there's a little bit of adhesive right there and another little piece right here. And so then I take my card and I hold it up to the light until I get it exactly where I want it, and then just push where that adhesive is and run it through my printer. Now, this does not work on every printer, but on most printers, like I have a DeskJet at home, and it works with my DeskJet at home. Okay, so if you want to print on something that's smaller than what you actually have, you can easily do that. Just test it out on a piece of paper and then put it where you want. Now, these other guys are just decorative. You could add other things. I did this based on the fact that my word for the year is stretch, so that's why the 2018 is in here. But I'm going to show you how you can do something similar to this using this bad boy that also is an Anthology piece. I'm not sure how many of you have this. They're little shelves, so you can use them as shelves, or you could actually use them for quotes too. So what I did is in Word, I created, and apparently I threw, oh, there it is. This one has whom spelled wrong, whoma. Anyways, I created a table that was 3.75 by 3.75, so it's a little bit smaller because each of those openings in those boxes is 4.5. And I don't know why I'm choking now, so sorry. So I made them just a little bit smaller. And when I work in it, designing it, I usually leave dashed lines in there just so I can see it. And you can actually print it this way because you're going to trim them off, or you can turn off the lines and print them this way. Okay, so if I was using the ones with the line version, I just line it up. I'm going to actually pull this guy down. Make sure you can see this. I line it up so the dashed line is just to the side of it. And also, I just used regular printer paper. You can use white cardstock. This was just strictly the easiest thing for me to do and get it done. Okay, so again, I'm just to the side of this dashed line, so I'm trimming off the dashed line. And you can do this in any order you want. You can do the sides and then come and do the top and the bottom, whatever works for you. Now, the one catch, and I am going to do this bottom one off first, and I'll come and show you the middle. Wow. When I do the middle, I will do to one side on that, and then I will just slide it over a little bit and to the other side of that one, okay? So now I have these two quotes, and I'm going to take some paper, which, oh, I'm using this paper, because I want to decorate it with the Flowers and Frames collection. So I went and found it, Our Memories for Life. This is in the Floral Flourish collection. Look how well those things work, especially when you see these guys inside. I'm so excited. Okay, so I'm just going to cut 4.5-inch squares. So I'm lining that up, 4.5 inches. And the great thing is there's 9 boxes on here, so you can get several quotes in here. You can decorate them however you want. I am just going to do 2 different papers, though. Okay, now I've got my papers cut, got my adhesive, my quotes. So I'm going to take my quotes and I'm just going to put them right in the middle. Now I could put them down in one corner if I want to decorate them. You can do whatever your little heart desires, okay? And I'm just going to put a little bit of adhesive in each corner. Put this in the middle. Of course, it's lined up perfectly, I'm sure. This guy. Oops. One thing about using printer paper is that the adhesive sticks really well to it. Okay, so, and you can see on this one that I'm just slightly off. You can barely see the little dash line, but we won't tell anyone, will we? Okay, now in here, I have all sorts of fun stuff to decorate with. Okay, so I'm going to put not that one. We'll go with this little guy. And there are foam squares, and I normally would definitely do foam squares, but I'm going to move through this pretty quickly. There are frames that you can put on these. There's so many fun things that you can use. I mean, look at these cute little frames. So if you had a smaller quote, you could do that inside of the quote. On this guy, he definitely will look cute, except for I have to figure out how to do this so it doesn't cover up my quote. That's not going to work, huh? But you can see you can just keep trying things until you find something that works, that gives you the look you were hoping for. This guy is too big too. Ah, that works. So I can put one of those there. These are paper flowers that are really fun to layer, so I can do a couple different ones, maybe not that big. Let's go with this guy here. Okay, so again, because they're paper flowers, I just put adhesive in the middle of it. You could use a glue dot if you want to, but I think it's fun to kind of layer them so that you get a little more color in there. And there are buttons that you can put in the centers. That's not going to work. Let's go with this little baby button here. Just put a little bit of adhesive because no one likes a naked flower, okay? So you do that, and then when you've got these done and ready to go, you just slide them into, and apparently I didn't measure these correctly. I Where? It said it was 4.5. Okay, so you know the rule. Measure twice, cut once. So lost my ruler. It does say, ha, 5. This guy up here is 4.5. So note to self, always measure. Those are 5 inches. Okay, so you know what you could do with these though? Oh, there's always a way to fix a problem. Who knows what it is? Well, of course, you double mat. Since I already have, well, we'll go with this guy. This will tie them all together. So now I can do, oops, apparently I just popped my blade out. You know, only when you do things live do you end up with issues like the blade just popped out. Here we go. Put it back on again. Almost on. There it goes. Okay, try this one more time. 5 inch. And we'll do 2 5-inchers here. Okay, and then we can mat these guys. See, it was a great plan. I had it planned all along. I just wanted you to think I didn't have it planned. So there's our handy dandy double mat. We'll do this one. Okay, now they will fit in. And these guys in the corners, because they're a little tight, you just drop them in and there you go. Okay, so some of them are not exactly 5 by 5, but you get the idea. Fill them with quotes, fill them with inspiring little things, whatever makes you happy there. All right. The last thing I want to show you, sorry, clear off my space here. Oh no, not the last thing. Oh, how can I forget this? Okay, how many of you have bought the Sign It card frame kit? I love this kit, and it's so cute, but what if you put a quote in it and made a little stand, and you're not going to be able to tell this, but look, it stands all by itself, and it doesn't close or anything. So let me show you how easy it is to do that. Okay, so put my pieces here. All right, here's a frame. I'm trying for life for me to remember which quote I was going to use. Oh, I know, I was going to use. Here's the great thing, I can see which one is going to fit, and it's this guy that I want to use. So I'm going to trim this down just a hair. I think I've mentioned before that I'm a really messy scrapper. You don't ever want to come to my house and scrapbook with me because I get kind of crazy. Now, the key to this is that the measurement on the inside of this, I lost my ruler again. Anyways, you want to make sure that you leave a little extra so that it will go outside, okay, on the ends. And if I remember right, I needed 5 inches on the height on this, so I'm going to just make sure that I have left enough. Wow, that's a close, snug as a bug there. Okay, it was 5 inches, so we're going to go just a little bit past it, see what we can do here. Now, the great thing is I'm hiding all this other stuff. That's just so I have room to put the adhesive down, okay? Now, I could put it higher, I could put it lower, whatever you want. And I'm going to put the adhesive on the inside of the card, because if I put it on the paper, I might not have it in the right spots. Okay, so this is where I put it, just like that. Then I lay this down, and I take this guy and I line it up without letting it touch the adhesive, in theory. Wow. Okay, And again, this would probably be a heck of a lot easier to do if you did it on cardstock rather than paper. And see, this is why. And now I'm going to just take this little piece of paper and do it on the inside. Okay, so always, you know, measure twice, think whatever that rule of thumb is. And this is too tall. So we're just going to trim it off. But remember, it's on the inside. No one's going to see it. So I'm just going to trim this little guy so that it still folds, but you could still make it fold. Now, you want to make sure that you decorate the front before you do the little guys that hold it in place. So I've got some little triangular ones here. And actually, it does fit better. I don't know why on that side. So I'm just going to put little foam squares on the back to pop it up. There's also baker's twine that you can put behind these if you want. And because I want it to look right, I'm going to put the center one in first. And I'm not using these as a card, so it doesn't matter if it hangs off a little bit to the edge. Okay, so if it hangs off, not a problem. So I'm going to put the next one on. He goes like that. Oops, don't pull the whole square off. He goes like that. And we'll find some flowers or something to put down in the corner. That one looks good. Okay, so we've got our flowers on. Now, here comes the fun part. I'm going to create little things to hold it in place. So I'm just cutting these in about a 1/2-inch strip, okay? And again, no one's going to see them, so I have to be perfect, but I am going to try. I don't know what I did with my trimmer tonight. Okay, we're going to hand cut these little dudes. So I'm just going to do it, and you want to make sure that it's thinner than those legs. That's why a 1/2 inch is just about perfect, okay? So I've got 2 of these little guys that are 1/2 inch. And I think my other ones I did were about 3 inches long, and these ones are a little bit longer than that. So I'm going to fold up each end, and it's best if you do these together so that you get them folded at the same place. Otherwise, they won't match up, okay? Then I'm going to take one of them, and I'm going to put adhesive on the back of it. Adhesive on the back of this guy. And then I take it and I line it up, and you don't want it to be at the very bottom of it. You want it to be just a little bit below. So I'm just going to put this one on so you can see that it's about 1/4 inch. All it is so that it will secure it. And then with that straight, kind of straight, I'm going to put it onto the other one. Okay, so there's one. Now I'm going to do the second one. Same thing, line it up on the bottom. It's about 1/4 inch from the bottom of that, 1/4 inch from the bottom of that one. There it is. Now it stands. It will not fall over. It's a built-in stand, okay? All right, last thing. This really is the last thing, and I'm going to let you go. We talked about inspiration, and one of the things that I like to do is look around me and find inspiration. Ads are one of my favorite things, okay? So this is a screenshot out of a magazine that I read online. So you can screenshot things, which is really nice. The thing I loved about this is this guy, this guy, this guy, and the other things. And then I also like the mat too. So if I was going to make a sketch out of this, I would draw my square. Whoops. Let's start that again, because apparently I'm a perfect square drawer. And yes, you could use your ruler, but for me, these really are sketches. So then I can say, okay, well, I know I want a photo this way, and I want one here, and I want to have an accent here. So I usually do a flower, and I'm going to do my title up here and my journaling down there. That easily, I've made a sketch out of this. Now, the other thing I would do that was pointed out by Brooke is the colors. I love these reds, the teal, and the green together. So I might take a picture of this, which I already have, and upload this so I have the color palette, okay? Here's another one. Yeah, I know I grabbed it because of the dog. But doesn't that picture grab you? So if I was going to do a sketch off of this, then I would say, okay, here, I probably wouldn't do this scallopy border, although I do like it. So instead, I might do a scallop border that I use from Our Memories for Life, and put a big focal point photo here. So this is going to be my photo. And then have some sort of accent here, and I always use a flower as my accent thing. And then I could put a smaller photo here, put some journaling here, and if I wanted to make it into a 2-page layout, then I just carry it across, and I could put 2 photos there, and I could put another photo. I could just actually reverse it and put more journaling like that. Okay, now I've got another layout. You're kind of getting the hang of this. Now, this one is really, really busy, but if you remove some of the busyness so that it's just these parts, you'll see that you have basically 3 sections, okay? So the sketch that I would do off of this one would look like this. So I would have it, and I would divide it into thirds, okay? So these are 4x6 photos here. And then I could either do additional photos here, or I could divide it up. In fact, this one actually has then an additional little, I could do a little border right here in the middle and do accents here. I could do my title and do some journaling. Okay, so taking that busy, busy thing. This also is a great color combination. You got that magenta, white, and black. Black and white with that magenta pop is amazing. Okay, we're going to do one more, and then we're going to call it good, okay? So here's one more that I love the layout of this one too, okay? So here's my layout, and I'm going to take it and divide it into these sections, okay? So this is a small part at the bottom, and then this part is divided in half. And again, I would probably either put a large focal photo here, or I would divide it in half. I would do my title here, and I really like how it has this fun box around it. So if I wanted to remember that, I would do that. I would put a photo up here, maybe even a round photo. It doesn't really matter. And then the thing I love about the bottom part here are these little tick marks. So I could put a photo here, an accent here, and some journaling in those parts, okay? So you can take anything that you find and make it into a sketch and use that for your layouts, use them for cards, whatever it is that you want to do. Okay, I'm going to take back control from my phone, except for I have to find my phone. Where did my phone go? So sorry, hang on. Cancel the spotlight video. That should take you back to me, hopefully. We'll see if I pin. Oh, I have to start my video. That would really help, wouldn't it? There we go. Come on, baby. Now that I've got my video going, will you let me do, okay, pin video on first screen. There you go. So those are all the inspiration things that we have for you tonight. I hope this has really helped you, given you some ideas of things you can do. Before we go, we're going to do one more set of points, and these last points are going to go to Kelly Steenbachers. If you will send your account number to Lisa E really quickly here in the chat, she will get you those points. Okay, everyone, thank you so much for joining us. We will see you next month. And Lisa, we forgot to check and see what the date was for that next month. Do you have it off the top of your head? Maybe? No? Let's see if I can find it really quickly in my... How about if we say we're going to come back on March 15th? March 15th, we will see you here. Thanks again for joining us, and we'll get the recordings up in the next couple of days. Bye.